Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift? We've got you. Guitar? Coming tomorrow. Road game today? Surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel! Guitar? Reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party? Relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Thank you. What a great day. God is good. To be here with all of you guys today, I couldn't imagine being that and the fact that there's a Starbucks coffee right in front of me. My wife pointed that out as soon as I walked in. I'm officially a Starbucks aficionado and have to have a cup every morning. I think she calls that being a coffee snob. So thanks for being here. What a turnout. What a turnout. What I'm going to do, first of all, is thank some people. Obviously, and I shared this with the players yesterday. I had a chance to meet with them. I'm going to start with them because there's no one more important than them. The student athletes mean a lot. Certainly to Allison and I, we've always operated that way as a family. So I want to acknowledge the 4 players who took the time today to come here to the press conference. It means a lot, fellas, that you're here. So thank you.
We've got some more in the back.
We got some more in the back. We need to get them up front.
We've got
There's more than 4.
Aaron,
Okay.
and Danny.
So there's more than 4. They're all trickling in here. So first of all, I want to thank you guys for being here. It means a great deal. I want to thank the Board of Trustees. I want to thank President Dr. Wilson for this opportunity. I want to thank our Director of Athletics, Larry Williams. I want to thank George Van Horn, who was a part of the interview process. I got to know George. He and I we're a little bit fatherly challenged. George and I kind of can relate to that. And so it was great to meet him. He was an important part of the process as well. So thankful for that opportunity and look forward to working with George and our development team. I also want to thank DHR International, the search firm. Glenn Subiami is here as well. Did just a great job of communicating and seeing the process through, very professional, and I appreciated that as well. I also want to recognize, Larry mentioned my family. They're not all able to be here because this did happen pretty quickly, but my best friend, Allison, as my wife, she's sitting up here in front, she'll raise her hand. My mother, Barbara Steele's here as well. So my 2-year-old's birthday party is this weekend. I'm from right outside Indianapolis, and Mom was planning on driving over to Champaign, which is a couple hours for that on Saturday. And when she found out yesterday, she said, I'm going to be there. I said, Mom, I'm not going to do that. That's 5+ hours in the car, then you got to drive back, and you got to get to Champaign on Saturday for the birthday party. She said, wouldn't miss it. So thanks for being here, Mom. Appreciate you. One of my best friends and college teammate, DJ Brennan, just surprised me. Just walked in and looked back and what's DJ doing here? So he made the drive over as well. I shared with these guys yesterday to have an opportunity like this. You depended on a lot of people, right, throughout your lifetime and throughout all the different experiences that you've had. Excellence is something that cannot be attained by yourself. And I was had a chance to mention a few of the people that are here. But I also want to mention my kids. They mean everything to me. I've got an 11-year-old, Connor, who he loves the cube. So he's been up on the ladder before. We've got pictures in our house of him and I doing that a few years ago that we treasure. We've got a 7-year-old, Camden, and I've got a 2-year-old birthday party this weekend with my daughter, Kate. And we're very close-knit family. We're excited to move into the area. Numerous people that we know, I've known along the way. The coaching fraternity or the fraternity of administrators has told us what a great place this is to live. And we're getting all kinds of suggestions and ideas of schools and places here in the Akron area, for us to look for a home. We appreciate all that. We're excited to have a chance to be a part of the community. I know our resource campaign, talking to George, remember he had mentioned the slogan, together we can be exceptional. You know, and I think it's right on. You know, I talk, as my wife knows a lot about it taking a village. I mentioned that earlier, how it takes just a number of different people. You know, everybody has to be an all-star in their role, an NBA all-star in their role. It's no different than a team. You know, so the administration needs to be great, coaching, support staff, academics, you know, marketing, media relations. Everybody has a job to do, and we all affect each other, and we're all dependent on each other. And so I love George's slogan, very similar to "It Takes a Village," which I use quite often, and you'll hear me say, is the slogan, "Together we can be exceptional." And that includes also our boosters and donors, you know, our alums, you know, our basketball alumni, fans. You know, our fans here are great, and they create a great environment in the arena that's very intimidating for opponents, and we're going to continue to need to grow and develop that. Our season ticket holders, you know, we're thankful that they support Zips basketball, and we're going to ask them to continue to do that and keep bringing more people with them as we continue to build momentum. You know, obviously the city of Akron is synonymous with great basketball. I knew that. I've lived, of course, the majority of my coaching career has been inside the state of Ohio. I've had stints in other places, but a lot of it has been here. Great coaches, great basketball. There's a blue, you know, collar mentality that I love about Northeast Ohio, and that I always have. You know, I think it was probably captured. We'll certainly thank our relationship with Nike and LeBron James as well. But I remember when I read the Sports Illustrated article when he came back, and I've never, you know, forgotten his line about nothing being given, everything is earned. You know, and that's kind of how we live our lives as a family. You know, my parents have taught me that. It comes back a lot to us, for us, to an identity that when I first became a head coach, we wanted to establish. And from day one, when I had that chance, we talked often, almost every day with our players about what it means to be tough and together. Certainly this part of the great state of Ohio understands what toughness and togetherness is. So that really, really excites me to have the opportunity. I will say this, I think, you know, I went down, and these guys will tell you yesterday, and I learned a lot. It was great. You know, I asked them, why Akron? I said, I'm going to share with you fellows why I came to Akron, but I want to hear from each of you why you came to Akron. What was special about it for you? You know, why did you could have went different place, all kinds of different places. You chose Akron. Why? And one of the things that came through yesterday that was so true, in addition to I left there and told my wife the blue collar, the toughness and togetherness that we talked about. You know, obviously those guys had a lot of that this past year in winning the MAC, to do what they did. And to be that consistent, you have to have an element or a level of toughness and togetherness that's been here for a while now. And as Matt and Larry mentioned, you know, I have great respect for what these guys and the recent teams, certainly their success speaks for itself. A lot of them talked about one of the reasons they came is to have a chance to compete for and win championships. And certainly that credit goes to a lot of the former coaches. You know, obviously Matt mentioned Coach Danbot. You know, spent the last 6 years 4 MAC championships, last 9 years 3 NCAA tournament appearances. So we certainly want to thank him. That foundation is tremendous because of players like the guys over here today, those that came before them, and the foundation that was laid by the players and the coaches. You know, obviously our goal is to build on that, and to do that still with that foundation and that core, the toughness and grit that Matt talked about, of being tough and together. Together we can be exceptional. It takes a village. It's going to take everybody in here to build on the recent success and the great tradition of Akron basketball. You know, for me, it was very similar after listening to them. Why Akron? The first and most important thing to me is the people. So I mentioned to you how I feel about the people of Northeast Ohio, and because of my background in the state and being in the state as long as I've been in the state, I knew a lot of different people that had either been here or that we knew already. We had a great feel for the area. So that alignment was certainly there. You hear the word alignment a lot. For me, the next step, knowing that our family would be a great fit here, was getting to know Matt, Larry, George through the interview process. And it became very clear after the first interview, and I told Allison this when we were out in Phoenix, that there was alignment in place. And that was really important to me, more than you know. And I really valued that. And it was interesting because the two things I was looking for was, number one, this whole thing is about impact. We have an incredible opportunity to impact this community, our region, our state, and beyond. You know, Matt mentioned he was recently in Germany. Internationally, nationally, we can do that at Akron. And I felt like in getting to know Larry and Matt and George, that it was very crystal clear that they cared about the student athletes and that the impact of the student athlete was at the forefront of their minds. Because that's so important to us. I always tell, and I shared this with the guys yesterday, for me, someone asked me one time, what's your greatest fear as a coach? And obviously, everybody in here wants to win every game. And we certainly prepare that way and expect to do that. But at the end of the day, for me, it would be having an opportunity to coach a young man and him not being transformed as a person, as a student, and or player. Because that's why they come to Akron. They come here because they have an opportunity, a big reason, to become a different person, to transform, to become a different student, to be better academically each year that they're here, and obviously to become a different player, to continue to grow in that area. So that's what we expect, and I can assure you there isn't a day goes by that I don't think about when I wake up our young men and what we need to do to help them grow in all three of those areas. It doesn't mean that it's easy. Those guys know that. But as long as we're tough and we stay together, that identity we talked about earlier that I think really mirrors Northeast Ohio, then we'll be able to figure everything else out, as I told them yesterday. So the alignment of a vision of impact, and then the second part that I felt from them was a vision of excellence. That Akron, Matt, Larry, George, through that interview process, they want to strive and chase greatness. They want to be excellent. They want to be that excellence, and you look at it in the dictionary, and Webster's part of that definition is superior. They want to chase that. We want to build on this great recent success that we've had, that our previous coaches and players have done such a great job, as I said earlier, of laying that foundation. So alignment was there. And then like these guys yesterday, a lot of them mentioned they're here because they're competing and winning. And that was evident by the commitment that I felt was going to be made, not only to the university, towards the athletic department. Obviously, we're talking specifically about men's basketball today, but that commitment matched that vision. You know, I had an old boss that used to say to me, one of my mentors, make sure that expectations are mirrored by commitment. And there's no question after having the 2 interview days, Saturday, Sunday, and meeting with the 3 men I just told you about, that became very evident to me that the commitment was consistent with the expectations of impact and excellence. So that's why I'm here. We're very excited, and we're looking forward to the move and getting everybody over here and continuing to connect. As I mentioned, I started with the players. I'm going to finish with the players. There's nothing more important than the players. And I ask all of you to continue to support them through transition. As we come in, I'm anxious to continue to get to know them even better. Yesterday was one team meeting. I've got other things scheduled today with them that I'm really looking forward to, and excited to continue to get to know you guys even better. So thanks again for being here, fellas. I'm going to open it up for questions that you might have. I know you might have one or two.
This is for media. Anybody has a question, please raise your hand. I'll bring your mic.
Given the intensity of OU Akron rivalry,
I didn't anticipate that question coming.
when you coached here, what's it like to be here in this moment now?
exhilarating, what I said earlier. And again, I'm very humbled. You know, I just got here yesterday. These guys in front of you, some of the guys in the back, some of the previous coaches that have been here, they have really developed a foundation for success and recent success that excites me. You know, they did all that. I told them yesterday, no one's ever going to take that away from me. Now we're going to try to build on that. And I mean that. So, exhilarating. We did get a few text messages from our few friends that we developed relationships with in Athens, and some of those were a little interesting. But we have, certainly have great respect for Saul, and Jim's the athletic director down there. Dr. McDavis was the president. So we'll look forward to competing against them.
Coach, do you want your program to expect it to look like OU Illinois, or do you expect a difference here between those other two programs?
Elton, it's good to see you again. Our paths cross. That's a great question, Elton, because I'm not one of those. I think you get in trouble playing the comparison game. For me, and I shared this with these guys yesterday, the most important thing for me is the relationships and that includes everybody in here, but players, coaches, staff, support staff, how we all connect, how we're all pulling the rope in the same direction. And then the second most important thing to me is honoring the process. And I've not always done that. And sometimes, I know as a media member, your guys' job is to predict and prognosticate and, predict the future. And I understand, I have great respect for that. But I think you can get in real trouble doing that. For me, I've tried, and Allison hears me say it all the time, the score takes care of itself if you do the right things every day. If we get better every day. I shared with the players yesterday, every day is going to matter, as we move forward. Every workout, in the weight room, every practice, every class. We're going to try to soak all of that in. I shared with them yesterday, I looked at my watch, of course it was April 5th, and I said, the question I always like to ask guys, Elton, is tonight when it hits midnight, April 5th, 2017 is gone. What did you do with it? What did you do with today to get better as a person, student, and player? If we do that, then I think the rest of that stuff takes care of itself. I really, for me, I try to stay away from the comparison game.
John, Evan Meyer, MAC Report Online. Good to see you.
Good to see you again, Evan.
Welcome back to the MAC.
Thank you.
I know it's been a whirlwind since the Final Four in Phoenix and the interviews. Do you have a short list yet on what you use in the soccer term, your backroom, your assistant coaches? Do
Sure.
you have in your pocket who you might bring to Akron?
I've got one guy that's coming with me. I shared this with the players yesterday. They asked the same question, Evan. Dustin Ford, who's been with me for 9 years, played the MAC, coached with me at Ohio, Illinois. Allison would probably tell you he spends more time with me and vice versa than we even do her, and Marcy's his wife, because of the nature of the beast. I have great confidence in him that he fits what we need to do here at Akron. He fits the Akron community. He fits the vision that we talked about earlier of impact and excellence. Other than that, Evan, I'm still, if you want to call or text my phone, it's sitting at about 200 and some text messages right now. We're getting a few calls. I think a lot of it's because people really respect, as Larry said, what's been done here and how great Akron is. So at this point, I've not moved. I will try to do that swiftly, but as John Wooden once said, I want to be quick, but I don't want to hurry. We want to make sure that we get the right people, the right coaches to be a part of our team.
Aaron Coleman, WAKR Radio in Akron. Welcome to Akron, Coach.
Thank you.
All right. First of all, being here in Akron is obviously a very good recruiting area. How do you and your staff plan on hitting the ground and getting to all the different high schools and making sure that your name is known?
Yeah, we've got some work to do, right? And hit the ground running is exactly the phrase that we use quite often, certainly in these situations. And we're going to work very diligently to do that. Obviously that falls under my leadership, but we'll be having, as we have staff members, as Evan mentioned, start to join us, then we'll be able to branch out. Our tentacles will run a little bit deeper, and then we'll be able to reach out even more. So we're looking forward to doing that. As I said earlier, this area, basketball hotbed. I think there's a great appreciation, not only for the game of basketball, but for, as I said earlier, blue collar, toughness. I mentioned LeBron's infamous quote. I think that's real in Northeast Ohio. So we're looking forward to reaching out and connecting. Many of those relationships, I'll be honest with you, we already have. And so looking forward to continuing to deepen those and connect here as quickly as we can.
John, Terry Florida from the Plain Dealer. Do you feel basically you had to re-recruit these players here? Because whenever there's a coaching change and there's so many players that transfer, not just here, but almost anywhere.
Sure. I would say this to that question. Transition's hard. We talked about that yesterday, and our group did. This is, transition and change. The way human beings are wired, Terry, most people don't like change and transition. And although that's a part of life, I said yesterday, I wish I could look all the guys in the eyes and tell them they will never be disappointed with anything or anyone the rest of their lives. You and I know as you smile, and you have the same hairline I do, so you've got a little bit of experience, I'm sure, that's not true. It doesn't happen. I wish it was the case, because we love our players and we don't want anybody to ever be disappointed, but it's really how you handle that, how you respond to that. And that's what I challenged them with yesterday. And as I said, I'm looking forward to continuing to get to know them better. That's important to me. But it's a transition's hard, It also can be exciting though. I'm more of a glass half full guy than I am, the other way around. So, is there an epidemic of that? I think that's a totally different discussion. You know that. You follow college basketball. One of the things I will share with you, we've been blessed in a society and age in college where maybe that's an epidemic. I was sharing with Larry yesterday, in 9 years, we really had one player voluntarily want to do that. And I think that speaks, first of all, about great staffs that are connected, that do develop great relationships with our players because we care about them. They feel that. They know it's genuine. We're bought in every day to helping them grow and develop, so they feel that. So where does that end up at the end of the day? I can't promise you or guarantee you anything because we're in the initial stages, obviously, of connecting and developing those relationships that are important.
Hi, Coach. Steve French, Akron IMG Sports Network. For many years, first of all, consider moving to Stowe. We can use you out there. If you're looking for a place, it's great tech. We can use that, yes. In your mind, ultimately, is there a style, that you prefer, or you just you look at the type of teams you have and the way the game itself has evolved, or,
Sure.
or things like that?
We talked about style yesterday with the team, and obviously some guys had familiarity, others may have not, but there's certainly a way that we're convicted about playing. There's no question. I think the word that we start with all the time with our staff and our team is attack. And we want to attack. And we want to be aggressive. We want to attack in every single thing that we do. We want to play with great speed and pace offensively, with great spacing. We pick and roll a lot. That would be an understatement. So we do that. Player development will be a big part of this. I always share with them the Papa John's commercial, better ingredients, better pizza. So that development piece is really, really important. That'll be a big part of what we do with our style. Defensively, we play man-to-man mostly. I told them yesterday we will sprinkle in a little bit of zone here and there. We'll put you under duress when you're trying to inbound the ball, whatever level of the court you're inbounding the ball. At times, we trap some to force turnovers, posts, pick and rolls. So those things will probably stay the same. Now, obviously, I think one of the jobs that a coach has to do is there's a balance between, hey, here's our conviction to the system, which is our foundation. That's not going to change. And then also being willing to adapt and adjust based on your personnel, what their strengths are. I think it's a coach's job to play those. So we'll do the best we can to balance that as we're building our style long term.
Any other media questions?
Elton's got another one. Don't blame him, Elton.
No, it just triggered a thought.
Okay.
The middle top of the league is a lot different now. Even though it's just been 5 years. Ball State is better, Eastern Michigan is better, Buffalo is better. Can you kind of talk to that and how do you wade your way or anticipate wading your way through that?
Sure.
I guess what I'm saying is it's a little bit different league, even though some say it's worse. I don't particularly buy into that, but it's definitely different than.
Yeah.
than
It's about parity
Yeah.
a little bit more. Yeah. Well, I like that. I like challenges. I like to compete. Obviously, I understand the background of the league. Not only the last time I was in it, but even before that, because I've been a Midwest guy growing up. Elton, I followed MAC basketball for a long time. So, I'm fully aware that there are teams getting better. We love that challenge. From being in that locker room yesterday with these guys, I don't think these guys mind challenges. That's I was around them for a little bit, but I think they're used to competing, and that's exciting. So we love to compete. We love the challenge, and we're going to worry more about, again, your question, comparing, 08 to 12 to now. This team's better. I'll be honest with you. I try to, again, I'm going to say it again, I don't get caught up. I'm more worried about what Akron's doing. We're going to control what we can control. Are we bringing it every day? Are we tough? Are we together, regardless of circumstance? Are we competing on a daily basis in practice? Are we doing what we're supposed to do to build excellence? Then from there, all the other stuff will take care of itself. Because I can't control the other things. And I think the thing you learn as a coach, especially as you start to get more experience, to spend mind energy thinking about the things that you can't control, I think is a total waste of time. So I really, try to focus on what we're doing here at Akron.
Hey, Coach. Will Smith, the VIP Blitz. I know you spent some time at Illinois. What's the biggest thing that you learned during your time at Illinois that you bring here? What's the biggest thing that you learned from coaching in Illinois and coaching in the Big Ten that you bring here to Akron?
That is a great question. It's not just one thing. My gosh, I learned a lot of things. Talked about alignment earlier. I think that's really important. Wow. I shared this with them yesterday, and we went down with a couple of you guys and said, "Do you think you're a better player, person, student now than you were a year ago or 2 years ago when you showed up?" And they all said, "Yeah." Most of them asked one of the players that. And I told them, one thing I can assure you is I'm a better coach than I was 5 years ago before I showed up at Illinois. I certainly don't mean that to be arrogant whatsoever. But I can't ask these guys to be lifelong learners and get better every day and keep growing and improve if I don't demand the same thing of myself and our staff. So we fully expect to be better the following year from the experiences that we've been through, the time that we put in, how hard we work. This is a great game. We love the game and we love people. That's a big core value for us in terms of how we do things. And that's not going to change. But I think the one thing you learn is another mentor used to say to me, the longer you get into this thing, you start to realize, maybe you don't know as much as you think you do. So I'm humbled by the chance to continue to be an active learner and to keep getting better. And I think through that experience, whether it's, recruiting, whether it's alignment, whether it's, different things we did coaching, what you learn coaching against the coaches in that league. Every league's different. I've learned in every league that I've been in, and I think it's made us better, certainly made me better. So I look forward to applying that experience now here to our time at Akron.
Coach Joe Dunn, Fox Sports 1350. Could you talk a little bit about your philosophy on scheduling, with the Mid-American Conference being, unfortunately, one bit late? You want to challenge the players with a strong non-conference schedule, or get ready for the tournament?
Yeah, I think each schedule is different. Basketball is unique. Each team, in terms of how schedule is different. But generally speaking, we want to be challenged. We certainly did that at the last place that I was at in the MAC. We did that. Whether it's through exempt tournaments, certain home and home series, games that we had at home. I was sharing with Matt last night that, we're very, very meticulous about who we play, when we play, are we coming out of finals, all the different things that we consider, no different than recruiting. It's not something where we just, as you can imagine, just throw it up against the wall because a team wants to play on a particular date. So there's a real thought process with it, and obviously we want to be challenged before we head into MAC play, but it's also important to balance all that. Larry and I talked in the interview process certainly about scheduling and talked about working together in that aspect of our program, and we're looking forward to doing that.
Now we're going to open it up to a couple of band questions. If anybody has a question for Coach.
Hey Coach, Chad Frank, Fellowship Christian Athlete staff member and chaplain of the football team. You mentioned your relationship with your wife, super impressive, but man, to be a head coach, super demanding, really tough to make that work. How do you balance responsibilities as a coach and as a dad and as a husband?
Sure, it's challenging. There are times, Matt, you and I were talking last night when we eat dinner, where I miss certain things that maybe my 11-year-old's doing or my 7-year-old or 2-year-old Allison will tell you. But I think the important thing is when you are with them that you're engaged, and I think my kids feel that. I want them to feel that. I don't know, you'd have to ask Allison how good I am at coming home from practice or a game and then coming in through the door and like leaving that at the office. Sometimes that's more challenging than others, other times because you're thinking about the next thing that needs to be done to continue to advance the program or move the program forward. That's challenging. For us, I would say the biggest key for me, and I appreciate you sharing the background there, is faith. I started out in the press conference saying God is good. Boy, is he ever. So that's important to me and our family. Having perspective and understanding that he's in control. As much as we like to be in control, that he's in control. So that's number one. And then number two, obviously, is our family. When we made the decision to do this, it's a family decision. Allison's just as important in this process as I am. In fact, I told these guys when I interviewed that she's the rock star. Not me. She's great and will be great in the community. And I know you guys will look forward to getting to know her. She's looking forward to getting to know you. So I think those two things kind of allow me, the best I can. I don't want to look at you and tell you like I've got this balance thing totally figured out, because that would not be the case. There's days I'm probably a little bit better at it than others. But I can tell you I love my family and I love God. That I can tell you.